I'm here at Culture Fight Club in Hoboken, New Jersey to meet up with the UFC bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling. Sterling is a master grappler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he has finished 8 opponents so far in his pro MMA career. And I'm excited to see which move he would want to teach me, because I've not done a lot of grappling in the past. I've trained Muay Thai, which is a lot of striking, and I've learned from some of the best throwing punches, high kicks, and flying knees. Now, when we take it to the mat, I'm going to enter an entirely different world. Sterling's one of the best, so I know that he'll come correct. The question is if I will be able to keep up. Let's find out.
Hey guys, I'm Brett Williams, men's health fitness editor. Like many other former college and pro football players, I turned to mixed martial arts and combat sports to stay in shape after I was done playing. Now, after a few years of training, I'm not the caliber of fighter I'd like to be.
I've decided to use some of my men's health connections to meet the world's best fighters and learn the moves that make them great.
Aljamain, good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you for having me here. I am so excited to learn from one of the UFC's best grapplers. You have your own unique style. You are a BJJ black belt, and you also specialize in funk jitsu.
Yes, sir.
And I've watched that deployed against, many opponents. You haven't lost in over 5 years. One of the things that I've noticed watching your fights is that as soon as you take an opponent's back, they're in a bad spot.
Usually pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So what I want to learn from you today is once you get somebody, you have somebody's back, what you do and how you do it. So that's what I want to know. Please teach me.
I got just the thing for you, Brett.
Okay.
We're gonna go over my rear naked choke, one of my specialties, one of the things I use in a lot of my fights whenever I do get finishes. It's one of the things I'm very good at. When I get back control, I tend to keep my opponents there. It's usually a bad night for them. So we'll get into it. This one is one of the ones I use against, kind of a setup I use against Corey Sandhagen. Climbed his back like a tree, took him down, end the fight.
That was it. Okay, well, I hope to learn it. I hope that I am not the victim of it, but I guess time will tell.
Yes.
All right.
Let's get into it. So before we go into the technique, I'm gonna show you guys just how to properly finish a rear naked choke first with this foam roller. I use the foam roller, technically, it's kind of like a neck of a person. So I use this a lot of the times in my training to work on muscle endurance, my squeezing technique and things like that. So I'll show you guys. Normally, I try to get the neck in the crack of this elbow. I bring my hand back to the far shoulder. And this hand, I normally go palm to palm. My bottom hand is going to snake over my choking hand, slide behind the neck of my opponent, and this takes away all the space and any opportunity for them to get in between and pull my hands away. So from here, I just crunch forward, I open my chest as I pull and I squeeze.
Okay.
And that's pretty tight.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that
take
looks
much.
tight. That looks tight. I'm not trying to be that, but I will take the neck. Starting here though. Okay, so crook of the elbow.
Crook of the elbow.
All right. So
We're gonna go palm to palm.
palm to palm.
And then you're gonna slide that bottom hand
Okay,
over
bottom.
top of the,
Okay.
No, so you had it right, you had it
Okay,
right.
I had it right.
So you're gonna slide the bottom hand on top of the choking hand, because this hand is gonna be around your opponent's neck.
bottom hand,
Yes.
gotcha.
So now you slide, and you're gonna snake it, palm
Under.
facing. You can go this way too.
Facing
I like to push, this way I can use my palm to push the head forward.
So you get more
and
leverage.
Get more pressure, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll try it again. So palm to palm, snake up under, and turn here.
And turn right behind the
under.
head.
And then I'll just
Squeeze with the arms and crush.
Damn it, I'm feeling it. Jeez.
It's a good workout. I use
It
this
is a
lot.
good workout. This is a big isometric, man. I'm shaking here. Okay. All right, so last time, palm to palm. Snake under, bring it around, and squeeze. And you're
Exactly.
squeezing the whole time.
I'm squeezing the whole time. When I get the palm to palm, you can kind of relax, because now when you have palm to palm, let's just go back. So when you're in this palm to palm position, you're gonna see most of your opponents fighting your hands and trying to separate the grip, fighting the fingers. That's why when you slide this over the top, it makes it very difficult for them to continuously pull that down as you slide that hand behind the head. Now there's no space for them to reach behind and grab your fingers and to peel away the choke. So So that's why I love the rear naked choke, because it's obviously my bread and butter, so I'm gonna keep using it.
Exactly. And that's the coolest thing about grappling is, you know, if you're watching it, you maybe not so sure about what's going on. You're just like, man, they're still. But you're hand fighting.
Yeah.
You're using that, and that is depleting, yeah?
Yes. It uses up a lot of energy, but you gotta make sure you're being efficient as best as you possibly can.
Okay, gotcha.
Until you get the finish.
Until you get the finish. And I know you gotta get in position to get the finish, so be interested to learn how to do that next.
Yes. So we'll get into my back take from a standing position and into the rear naked choke.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'll start with one of my classic entries, super easy, very simple for people to follow. We're both in our stance. So let's say I throw a simple jab or a 1-2. I'll start with the jab, just a jab to the face. He covers up, or even if he throws something back, it allows me the opportunity to shoot and attack the legs. Once I attack the legs, normally what a good person would do is keep a wizard. This is going to keep me from taking him down, but that's okay. I'm gonna step up, I'm gonna lock my hands around the waist, and from here, I step my hips in front, in between my opponent's legs. Now, I'm gonna put a lot of pressure forward because I want their hands to touch the mat. I'm gonna do what we kind of call a throw by in wrestling. So as I push, I rotate the hips and I throw by. Now from here, it's where we climb them like a tree. I can put my claw ride on here, or I can keep my hands locked underneath his chest, and I'm gonna step off the cage, throw a hook in, and I can push into a nice easy roll. Body triangle, right here with the legs, I'm here. I take the body triangle because this makes it so much tighter. And now from here, I'm looking for my choke. Now, if my opponent, if Brett's on this side, this is going to be a little bit harder for me to get this choke. I always want my head underneath. So now what we practice on the foam roller, I'm gonna take my choking hand underneath. I'm gonna cup the shoulder. Notice how my chin is under his head to keep his head propped up from the ground. If he gets his head to the ground, that's his escape. I don't want that. So my chin stays under his head. I cup. I now go palm to palm. Now Brett grabs my hands. This is very difficult for him to pull my hands away because my palm to palm grip keeps my hands behind and a little bit more hidden. Now from here, I'm gonna snake my hand underneath, behind the head. And then from here, I'm gonna press forward, open everything up, stretch, and press the choke.
Ugh, damn.
A lot of pressure.
That was a lot of pressure real quick.
Okay, so I just showed you guys my rear naked choke. I'm going to go through it one more time, a little bit more naturally, how it would typically happen in at least one of my fights. I can't speak for everybody else, but at least one of my fights. Once again, in our stance, jab, and finish.
Ugh. Again.
Choke by the best.
Okay, so it's one thing to, you know, get some pressure on a foam roller. It's an entirely different matter to have a UFC champ just bringing a little bit of pressure to my neck. Even just a little bit, I could tell, you know, there was some big power behind that. So now I know how to do the choke, I know how to take the back, but I know that you're probably gonna make me do something really hard next, so I'll be very interested to see what's happening here.
Yes, so I want to show you one of my workouts that I like to do. It's gonna be a good little challenge for people at home, for yourself, just to kind of keep the conditioning going for a move like this.
Oh boy, okay, we're up in the ante.
Let's go. I think Brett's a little stiff when it comes to the movements, but it's natural for someone who's just starting to grapple. I think once you get some more repetitions in, it makes it a little bit easier to make it more natural when you're starting to move. Just gotta work on the form a little bit, but I think for the most part, he's got the size, he's got the strength, and I think he makes for a perfect candidate to be a student.
I'm a little intimidated, honestly. This is outside of my comfort zone, it's outside of my experience, so I know that I'm really gonna have to come correct to not find myself in a world of trouble.
So this is one of the circuits that I like to use for my fights when I'm getting ready. First, I use the foam roller. The foam roller is gonna be in my hand, simulating the choke. So while I'm squeezing with the foam roller, I'll also have the med ball between my legs squeezing as well to simulate the figure 4 of my legs on my opponent. So it's weighted, it's gonna feel like I'm carrying my opponent between my legs as I'm squeezing, and then from there, we're gonna do 5 burpees and then 5 push-ups.
5 push-ups.
It's 3 sets, all under 3 minutes. All right, so Brett, if you don't finish this in time, in under 3 minutes, we're gonna have a little punishment, which is gonna be the Aerodyne bike. That's one of the hardest conditioning tools right there. But for you, if you don't get it, we'll just do 50 cals as fast as you can go.
Okay, all right, well, I guess I gotta finish then.
I got faith in you. All right, Brett, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go, let's rock.
All right, let's get into it. Ready, set, go. Squeeze that thing, come on. Squeeze, squeeze, there we go. Keep it engaged, everything engaged. I like it, I like the energy, I like the energy.
All right, this is way harder than you expect.
Yes, yes, keep going. Keep the tension, keep the tension. Come on, almost there. Hold it, breathe, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time, hand up. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch. Back with a squeeze. Go. There we go. Good pressure, good tension, good squeeze. That's a good squeeze right there, guys. That's a great squeeze.
Isometrics suck, man.
Keep going, keep going. Beautiful. I love the intensity here. I love the enthusiasm. 10 seconds. Ah, you're shaking. I feel it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great job, Brett. Great job. 1. One more time. Oh, shit. And go. Sit down, set. We're making good time here. We're making some really good time. Keep that tension up.
Feel the core.
Squeeze it, squeeze it. Both sides, both sides. Don't forget the legs. Squeeze those legs. There we go. That's a rear naked choke.
Try to stretch them out.
5 seconds. And time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 5. Beautiful. 20 seconds. 20 seconds to spare. Good job.
All right, that challenge, I finished with some time to spare, but that doesn't mean that it was not a challenge that was tough. I'm feeling it. I could really feel how much you have to put in to squeeze, and I didn't even have anybody fighting me. Like,
Yeah.
How are you feeling, come championship round?
Definitely got to put a lot of work in beforehand with the conditioning side of things. Isometric squeezes, just like that. Got to make sure you can turn it over and go right into striking. So drills like that, exercises like that are always going to be good to use and implement to your training camps.
All right, Lee, I know that years of training went into that entire maneuver that you explained so simply. And then again, like you said, the conditioning to really take it home and be able to finish out a championship fight, which you have coming up. You have a title defense coming up against Henry Cejudo. I'm ready to see you defend the belt. What would you have to say to anybody at home, who's followed your journey, who's ready to watch, who's excited to see the fight?
If there's anything I can say to those people at home watching is follow your dreams, and anything is possible as long as you put in the hard work, trust the process, and be a student of the game. So if anyone out there that actually wants to be a professional fighter, it's a lot of work. It doesn't just go straight like this. Sometimes there's bumps in the road, but you gotta be prepared for those days. It's gonna be a lot of highs, a couple of lows, but you get through it, just like everything in life.
Wise words. no matter what you're doing, but especially if you're trying to get one of these belts.